Hello, my dear and lovely Geminis. This is your horoscope for September 2024, and September will be one of the crucial months, astrologically speaking, for all of us because we have eclipse in September. And eclipses are known to be disruptive, but that's not a good word actually to describe it. It's more of I see it as an opportunity because eclipses are moving us as fast as possible, actually, to the point of our lives where we, let's say, should be according to the universal timing, but we are not there because we are humans. For none other reasons, but just because we are humans and we have all those, uncertainties and insecurities and all the stuff that always hinders us from actually going fast. Now, eclipse will happen in September, and after 2 weeks, we will have another eclipse in October. So these 2 months will be very important for all of us because, during eclipse season, something changes, something drastically changes. Our lives get transformed. Something is, falling behind, or something completely new is building in our life. Now, that's why September will be amazing. And also September, I see that there are 2 planets who will set the tone for the whole next half of the year. Not even until New Year, but up until, April, like up until spring next year. And we will speak about those 2 planets who will make the most, activate your 2 areas of your life, and you will get busy for the next, half year like period, or even 7 to 8 months. And before I begin with September horoscope, I would like to remind you to always check your rising sign and moon sign too, to get the complete picture of the month and what to expect, what might happen, and to be ready and, all armed and prepared. Now, let's begin with September horoscope. 3rd of September, we have new moon. Now, new moons are all about new beginnings, new stories. Something new is beginning in life. Some sort of new event or new person or a new, thing happening around you, and it will happen in your family house, a house of where you consider yourself, a family, or where you consider yourself a home. For example, it's a house of home. 4th house. Now, this new moon will happen at 11 degrees, meaning those of you who are born around 1st of June will be, affected the most by this new moon. This new moon will be speaking directly to you guys, plus or minus 5 days around this date. Now, and always allow new moons around 10 days to bring the message, to knock on your door and deliver the situation or a person or something, that will happen. Now, this new moon, will have an opposition, meaning sort of a very stressful angle from planet Saturn. Saturn is the planet of work, planet of restrictions and responsibilities. Now, Saturn is our, let's say, strict teacher of the universe. It teaches pretty directly and usually in a hard way. Anyhow, Saturn is amazing just, to see where we are growing in our natal chart. Now, here Saturn opposing that new moon, it will be situated in your house of social status. Now, these 2 houses, like new moon is happening in your 4th house and Saturn opposing it from your social status house, seems like, there might be something related to relationship actually with someone at home. Because this aspect that Saturn will be making to that new moon is all about relationship aspect. That's how I call it. And it seems like it might be there is some issue with someone from your family. And most likely it might be your mother, because 4th house is mostly about our mother, or any other family member, like your siblings or father. And there might be some issues, and it might involve like concerning, let's say, the fundings, concerning some sort of money or some who should be supplying what, all these kind of things, or maybe even family budget. It might be about that. And or in some cases, it might be about alimony, if that's your situation, or taxes, or anything else sort of, and even taxes for real estate. Because 4th house also is about real estate. For some Geminis, you might be, totally caught up about this house or apartment thing. Because 4th house is not only our family, but also where we live. Like, is it what kind of building? What is our whereabouts? Let's say, what is a house? If it's apartment, anything. And even as an investment too. If you have and you own real estate, so it might be there some sort of issue with that. With someone from your family, it might be, and something related to taxes on that. also, or maybe funding. If you are buying a house or an apartment, then it might be related actually to the status of the loan that you've taken to buy that house or an apartment. Some sort of kind of money that is coming from someone else, like from the government or from banks or financial institution. There could be some sort of issue that you will have to sort out. And also, like, Saturn is making like that opposition exactly from your 10th house. It's also about your career. In some cases it might be, let's say, your mother's situation. Maybe she finished, like, let's say, whole time her job and she's going to pension, and now she's going to be a pensioner, let's say. Because 10th house is like a career house, that we working house, where we aspire, who we want to be, where we want to be. And it seems like someone from your family, or your vision actually of your family, kind of shattered here or finished. But because it's a new moon, it's something new beginning. I more like to think that it's something that a new a career status is beginning there. It doesn't matter if you are changing your job, or it might be that you're let's say finishing your job too. Now, another thing to worth to mention here is also citizenship and immigration thing, because 4 houses, it's where we call home. Now, for those of you who have been trying to immigrate somewhere or get a citizenship or some documents, travel related documents like visas, residence permits and all the stuff, there might be some sort of problem to solve, so that you will get it. Some sort of status of that document won't be kind of solvable, let's say, or there might be a situation that you need to apply and bring more documents, or some sort of paperwork might be happening there related to immigration and citizenship. Like, there might be some other, let's say, if you found a new job and new career, you are starting a new career, then it might be you are moving and immigrating because of that to somewhere else, and that career seems like will be somewhere far, and you will have to apply to visas and all the stuff. Now, and it also relates for those of you who are getting married. If you got married and because of that you might be also immigrating, and especially if your husband or wife, newlywed, let's say, living somewhere else, or they are from some other culture, like traditions, and it might be changing something there, like your home is changing, your where you live is changing. And in general, for some of you guys, it might be that you are totally changing your living place. As simple as could be that you are stop renting an apartment and start renting another one, or let's say your landlord came and said that there is some issue and they want you to empty the house and all the stuff, to move somewhere else. And this kind of situations might happen during this new moon by the beginning of September. Now, there is another thing with this new moon, the ruler of the new moon, Mercury. Why Mercury? Because new moon is happening in your 4th house, and Mercury rules your 4th house. But Mercury will be situated in your 3rd house. Now, 3rd house is all about communication and all about siblings for some of you guys. Now, I'm trying to give you as much as, the context and what is the topic about this new moon, but all you have to do is just, think about your own situation, what is going on there. Now, Mercury will be situated in your 3rd house, and Mercury will receive another unfriendly beam from Uranus, planet of surprises and electricity and shock and all the stuff, Uranus is the planet, it's unpredictable. You never know what kind of news it might be. And it might be also related to some sort of some past issues, that I mentioned just now, all related to your home and career, but somehow and your social status. It might be that something related to past events or people or something, situation that happened in the past will be affecting you now by this new moon. In some case, it might be even like divorcing, because your social status is changing, from, let's say, married to single or single to married. It might work both ways. It's up to your situation and where you are right now in your life. But here is the topic also, why it's in the past, because Uranus is a retro, meaning retrograding, moving backwards. It's slowing down. And it starts slowing down exactly on the 1st of September, but we will talk about it a little bit later. But just to tell you that Mercury just came out of its retrograde, and it's in a shadow period. which means it is still slow, but it's getting into its pace, faster pace, but still it's slow. And both of these planets indicating something about past. There might be, this new moon might bring some issues around that, especially like communication within your family with someone, maybe with your mother, or communication regarding a real estate. Let's say if you are in a divorce process, then it might be communication about regarding real estate with your ex-husband or with your ex-wife. It might be any sort of, I can give you millions of, examples, but the main topic here is something is going on around your family relationships. It doesn't matter former or current one. And also something related to, it might be related to travel and immigration. It might be not even like immigration. It could be as simple as travel too. Traveling somewhere far and traveling somewhere where you have been already, somewhere that you know very well. But no worries, this new moon will be saved by another 2 karmic heavy planets. Those planets, they will be situated in your 10th house and 8th house. Now, those houses are career and social status houses, and also money houses, investment houses. Now, they will try to save the day, save the event or relationship, whatever is your situation, and they will be, sending amazing beams to Uranus, planet of surprises, to make it a bit softer, to make it like lessen its effect, let's say. And it might be not as so much shocking news around this new moon. Let's say that you kind of predicted it, you kind of felt that it's going to happen. Something, this kind of a thing might be going on around this new moon. And also because Mercury in your 3rd house, it might be related to your siblings, if you have them, like brothers or sisters or any other relatives, close relatives. Speaking about Mercury, 9th of September, Mercury will move into your 4th house, house of family and real estate, where exactly this new moon happened on 3rd of September. So all the topics of this new moon might exactly hit you around 9th of September, as soon as Mercury moves into that house where the new moon happened. Now, it might bring the news and, gives you all the messages that from this new moon. But Mercury is a bit interesting here in September, because Mercury will be transiting 3 houses in your natal chart, and Mercury is your ruler, my dear Geminis. Now, Mercury in the beginning of September, it was in your 3rd house. Like, there was quite a lot of communication buzz, a lot of travel, let's say some short distance travel, somewhere near, somewhere like under 2 hours of drive or flight, sort of very near kind of destinations. And after actually 9th of September, around 10th of September, your mind, your focus will switch into your family situation, to your home situation, or if it's your case, real estate situation, or your mom's life, let's say mother's life, or your parents' life in general, or if your situation is about immigration and citizenship, it might also be the time when you will start, gathering and applying all those documents, travel-related and visa-related and immigration-related, all this paperwork is happening. But by the end of September, on 26th of September, Mercury again changes sign and it moves into your 5th house. And 5th house is a much more enjoyment house, 5th house is a joy house, is a love house, true love house, is a romance and flirt, and of course it's a children's house. 5th house in astrology is a house of joy. And why, let's say children are here? Because we create them out of joy, kids, something that we create. Our creativity is here too. Like, especially for those of you who are actors, singers, dancers, in art area, like creatively using your talents and hobbies, all is under 5th house. And of course, love. When we fall in love, that's when we have joy in our life. It's also in 5th house. And it might be surprising that business owners are here. Why? Because business is also like our children, it's our kid. We create it. We want it to grow and develop and be profitable. That's why it's in the 5th house too, because that is our creation. Now, when Mercury moves after 26th of September into your 5th house, your mind will switch actually to your, let's say, kid situation or pregnancy related, let's say, errands might happen. And for some of you, it might be business. For some of you, again, it might be your hobbies and talents, as I said. And for some of you, it might be quite a lot of chatting with your let's say person of interest that you are dating, because fifth house is not a committed relationship house, but the house of of when we date, when we just start seeing each other, this kind of when the relationship is at the start, let's say in the beginning still time. Now this will all happen by the end of September, when your ruler Mercury moves there and your mind switches into that area of your life. Now let's talk about Mars, because Mars will be one of the planets who will set the tone for the whole next year. Now Mars on 4th of September will move into your income house, your earning house, money house. Now this is good time to earn money, but also spend money because Mars in the second house gives actually excessive, let's say, spendings. So take good care up until April, my dear Geminis, on your savings and how you spend money too. Why it's until April? Because Mars will stay in your second house until April next year. This is very long time to Mars to be in one sign, but because it will be retrograding. It will start retrograding, moving backwards. Slowing down means of course, it will come out from your second house for a brief time, but then again, go into your second house and only leave your second house after April 2025. It will come back into your second house right after New Year, in January, 6th of January, to leave in April. Mars retrograding happens every 2 years. And here, it seems like the universe is telling you something to focus to deal with your second house, how you earn money. And also second house is not only about money, it's about our self-worth, self-respect, let's say self-love, value, what we value, also here, especially your priorities, your life priorities. And second house is also material possessions, like those expensive things, like house, apartment, car, all these things. Now, when Mars hits your second house, it will activate your second house topic, as I said, until April 2025. And here, for some of you guys, it might be, let's say, in some cases, it might be that in September you will start earning, or you might change your job in September, and that job will stick with you until April, so that Or it might be you will start some project for which you will get the money, and that project will be finalized only in April. Or it might be that you will be spending for something during the next 7 to 8 months. It might be because of your, let's say, something changed at work. Maybe your salary got revised and you might be even getting double, let's say, after September. And even a double time, it might get revised. Lucky you, my dear Geminis, because it's a good time to get, to be noticed by your managers and VIPs if you wish to so. Because Mars naturally rules your house of work in your chart. Now, something related to your work and also something related to online or internet. You might start earning online also, starting from September. If that was your wish, that wish might be granted. So universe is making you to focus on your second house. Or it might be you will be trying to actually sell something that you own. As I said, it's a material possession, like a house or a car or something expensive, valuable. It might be that but that process of, purchase or actually sell will be finalized only by April. For some reasons, there might be a lot of back and forth going on. Either it's communication or paperwork, so that that process will be finished only in April, my dear Geminis. Now, for some of you, actually, it might be about how you consume, let's say, food, what kind of food and what type of food, because second house is the house of resources, all types of resources, like materials, psychological, or energy, and food also here. And it seems like for the next 6 to 7 months, your diet is kind of changing. Your, this whatever you eat is kind of changing. Some things are going and some things are coming. It might be for any other reason, let's say health reasons, because of the well-being reasons. Maybe let's say your doctor prescribed you some sort of strict diet or some sort of only particular types of food, let's say. And for the next half year until April, you will be on that prescription, let's say, journey. Now this could be one of the situations, my dear Geminis, for you. Now, let's now talk about eclipse, because September we'll have one eclipse there. On 18th of September, we have full moon lunar eclipse. Now, I will give you a brief, description what's going on, but I will make a separate video on this eclipse because it's sort of very interesting eclipse, and I will give you more information on that video, so stay tuned. But for now, I would like to tell you briefly that full moons are all about conclusions. They are ending something, or they are putting a big light on something that you put attention on, and because it's eclipse, it has 10 times power than a, let's say, normal full moon. So it has a power of 10 full moons. And always allow eclipses even 2 months before and 2 months after sort of time period to manifest in your life. That's how it's so big and long reach of the eclipse in your life. You might have gotten your news of this eclipse actually already in end of July or August. And for some of you, it might be in September, and for some of you, it might be even October or November. The news is coming, not necessarily now. And one thing to remember, never act on eclipse season, period, because we have two eclipses. Now, first one will happen in September, and 2 weeks later will happen in October. Now, during these 2 months, better not to make any important decisions, because decisions that are made during eclipse season are very hard to change, very hard to reverse. Now, that's why, make sure that you wait. Just relax and wait to fully unfold the story of this eclipse, because we won't have all the details right on our hand. Eclipses usually act as sort of, urgent kind of things, and you will feel like, I know that you will feel like you will need to act, and you will have to solve it now and quick and forget about it, but that's not the case, my dear Geminis. Have patience. Just wait and act only in best case in November. Because when eclipse happen, there is a huge dust around us, in the universe. There's nothing visible, is a low visibility, especially during this eclipse, because it will be conjunct with the ruler of the eclipse, Neptune, and Neptune is the planet known to be connected to fog. Here's zero visibility, I would say. So nothing will be, let's say, understandable. Everything will be confusing, and better to wait and a couple of weeks so that you know all the cards at hand to make a right decision. You may, you will have the power to react on situation. We might not have the power what will be happening during eclipse, because it's very hard. That's a law of universe. But we will have the power to, how we act and what is our reaction. But never act. This is the thing. Now wait a couple of weeks to make the right decision. Now this eclipse will happen in your 10th house, house of social status, your career house. 10th house is the highest house in our chart, and this is where we want to be. In the 10th house, we have the people that we aspire to be, or we sort of respect, and the places that we want to be, the profession what we want to acquire, let's say, who we want to be in life. It's in the 10th house, and also our social status. In a bigger society, who we are we parents, or are we married, or are we single? What is our social status? Are we employed? Are we a manager or a business owner? Whatever it is, there is a social sort of name and status there. It's everything in your 10th house. Now this eclipse will happen at 25 degrees, meaning those of you who are born around 15th of June will be affected the most. Plus or minus 5 days around this date, now eclipse will be talking to you directly, my dear Geminis. This full moon lunar eclipse will have a very bad angle from Jupiter. Now Jupiter is a very happy planet, happy lucky planet of the universe, which is transiting your sign, because you are lucky ones this year, my dear Geminis, until next year, until your birthday, end of June. Now Jupiter transiting your house, it's a sort of a gift given from the universe to you, and usually Jupiter sort of showers us with gifts, but here Jupiter will be sending a very bad beam, let's say, not a friendly beam to lunar eclipse. And it seems like here is more like an emotional level sort of turmoil here happening, and Jupiter naturally rules your 7th house of committed relationships. It might be about relationship status, that is happening around this eclipse. It might be that you are breaking up, or it might be that you are taking a grand decision to get married, or to get divorced, or separate. Something is changing there regarding your relationship status. And exactly those of you who are in committed relationships, not the ones who are dating and all that sugar thing, but the thing that is you are married, or you are in a long-term partnership. and relationships. Or if you say it's not about love, then it might be about business partnership. For those of you who are business owners or who are involved in the business, like in partnerships related to work partnerships, then it might be this eclipse will be changing something there in that relationship, maybe with your partner or with your investor, let's say, in your business. Something is changing there. And there is another possibility. It might be that you completely yourself changing the path of your life. Now sort of realizing that you want to be something else. Let's say that 20 years you wanted to be a doctor, and you've been studying and I don't know, working and trying to achieve something in that area. But all of a sudden this eclipse comes and wakes you up, in a very abrupt way, because eclipses work in that way. They wake you up, like makes you sober, and somehow you would feel that you might feel that you want to actually be, I don't know, a singer, and you've always wanted to be, but because of, I don't know, life circumstances, or because of people surrounding you, for any other reason, like you just happen to be on a doctor pathway, let's say. But here this eclipse comes and actually gives you a realization, about yourself, who you want to be, where you want to be. So you might, this eclipse might help you to look at your life direction and to a little bit correct it. That's what eclipses do, That's amazing thing. I love eclipses of the universe, because that's amazing tool of the universe to make it faster, in our life, something to happen. Now, on another note, because eclipse is happening in the 10th house. 10th house is also, because it's a career house, it's also about our achievements in life. Some nominations, some title, and our reputation is here. Big stake, big influence. Now, it might be that something will be going on about your reputation and about influence. If you've been influential before this eclipse might come and sort of steer that thing, and sort of, you might fall from that big influence and reputation over people, or vice versa. Your reputation might rise around this, during this eclipse. It might be both ways, depending on your situation right now in life. And for some of you, it might be totally about someone else, because 10th house, is people, in the 10th house, we have people who we respect, who we want to be like. And 10th house is about father's life, or your manager life. It's not about you, this eclipse, but it might bring the news about your manager, or about your father, something going on in his life. It might be he's getting married, or he's getting divorced, or he's getting a big, let's say, reputation and influence, or vice versa. He's losing it. Some sort of things happening there, around the people who you respect. It might be not about you, but about other people. This is what might be happening. But anyhow, during this eclipse, one thing to note, that all the heavy planets, karmic planets, will be supportive of that eclipse, in a materialistic way, let's say, in a more, not, let's say, materialistic, no, that's the wrong word, like spiritual way, emotional way, because those heavy planets will be situated in your, spiritual houses, 12th house and 8th house. Seems like whatever will be happening, it is deserved thing is happening there. Something deserved by karmic deeds, something which is right, something which universe thinks is the right and is the time to happen, and everyone gets what they deserve, sort of thing. That's how karmic planets will be supporting this eclipse. On that level, seems like, and you yourself on emotional level, on the level of mental, health, and on the level of subconscious mind, you will be quiet and calm, undisturbed, let's say, because somehow in something, your intuition or whatever you call it, like your subconscious mind will be telling you that the things that happened there, the events that unfolded, or people that happened there, with whomever, with you or with others, you will be feeling that it's deserved things, the things that were like supposed to happen, and it was the right things, to be that way, to unfold it that way. Now, anyhow, you will trust, your inside guts, sort of, and your intuition will be telling you that everything is right. So no worries on that. Seems like the universe is helping you on mental and emotional level, my dear Geminis. Now, anyhow, I will make a whole separate video on this, where we will dive deeper and stay tuned for that video. Now let's talk about Sun. On 22nd of September, we have Sun moving into your 5th house. As I said in the beginning of the video, Mercury, your ruler, on 26th of September will be also moving into your 5th house, house of joy. And when Sun moves on 22nd of September, hold your attention. By the end of September, will switch into your house of joy, actually. Something joyful will be happening in your life. And you might be actually, let's say, more busy with your talents, hobbies, creativity side, your business, or something that you like, about your children. Maybe they are errands you might be going around with, or even romance. You might fall in love as well by the end of September. Let's say you might be more busy by the end of September with your love life, dating, let's say, life. And another thing worth to note is Uranus. As I said in the beginning, 1st of September we have this planet of surprises to go retrograde, moving backwards in your most private house, 12th house, until 30th of January 2025. So almost 5 months it will be retrograding in your 12th house, which is like a house of past, house of subconscious mind, and our spirituality house. And when Uranus is retrograding, it's another heavy and karmic planet, and they are influencing more likely on a level of subconscious mind, what's going on in our head, how we grow spiritually, and that's how they influence. I mean, they might not affect us directly, like materialize in the real world. Let's say the change might be happening within you. The change might be transformation there happening inside you or your head. Now, anyhow, like spiritual growth thing is happening here, and it's sort of a background kind of topic going on. Now, Uranus retrograding until end of January next year might bring like sort of deja vu moments, starting from September. Like, because Uranus retrograding same period like last year, it retrograded from September until January. You might be catching yourself on like thoughts like it happened before. These things has happened before. Something is repeating, or you might be just thinking back to decisions that you've made during that period, during that retrograde of Uranus. Last year, September until January this year, So it might be sort of a kind of similar thing coming back into your life with this Uranus retrograding, and it's more likely happening in your head. You might be catching yourself more often about like on thoughts about the past decisions in that period that you've made from September until January, and those decisions seems like were very important decisions in your life, sort of life-changing decisions. And this year you will be thinking about those decisions, and you might be sort of thinking that some things are repeating itself and happening again. Now, this was your horoscope for September, my dear Geminis. Wish you amazing September. It has a potential to be an amazing month. This September, any month actually, has a potential to be amazing. It's all up to us, right? If we want it to be amazing, it will be amazing. So stay on a positive side. I love you all. Bye-bye.